We are all capable of living and putting together the puzzle of our story. It's not because we don't put it together, because we have this mania, this strange habit of not getting along with ourselves. We're always focused on others, excessively focused, and sometimes it's not even impostures, altruistic, philanthropic, and charitable, right? We are always focused on the other, in the sense of paying attention to what's happening outside of us. And we are very stimulated to do this, aren't we? We have a device in our hands that constantly throws us outward. And this device? It could also judge us internally, but it doesn't always do so. We don't always search our cell phones for internet profiles that help us think about our inner issues, to think a little about our lives. We are in great need, my people. We are too reactive. I've said it here so many times. Reactive, overly reflective, less and less interested in our own issues, because the lives of others interest us so much. It's a crime, isn't it? I need to learn to live with myself. And the more I decipher my inner codes, the greater my ability to articulate my truth, to have more conscious behavior, to have more control over my emotions. The lack of love, that is, your lack of self-love, it triggers terrible choices that he knows will harm him, but he can't stop that choice. He can't think positively like that. And this is very common. We are very, very adapted to this mechanism that throws us out and that hinders our experience of our own friendship. I need to be my own friend. And to be my own friend, I need to know myself, to have attitudes that are favorable to me. I need to have control over my emotions. My emotions betray me all the time. It's amazing when I'm driven by anger. I harm myself. I make hasty decisions. In extremes, right? It's always dangerous to make decisions in extremes when we're too happy, when we're too sad. The middle ground? So, when I don't know how to deal with my emotions, I end up being an obstacle. And sometimes we have the illusion that those who can destroy us are others, right? Of course people can harm us. With what they say, spoiled consent which they throw at us. With slander, with lies, with justice. But ultimately I am the filter, who will allow it or not. That evil that was judged upon me. Ultimately, what was judged about me, and grow at the root. Ultimately, we are the filter. And to be aware of this, I need to live the experience of high knowledge. Without the experience of self-knowledge, I don't reach the best of myself. I don't discover where my strengths lie. For example, the person who needs to get rid of alcohol addiction, how will they deal with the addiction strengthening their will, strengthening their self-love? Observe how addiction grows in people who don't love themselves. How does a lack of self-love happen? Sometimes we already grow in self-love. Unfortunately, our parents don't always get it right with us, nor do the people who exert an effective influence on us are wise enough to educate us. What is true is the experience of self-love, or else we lose it throughout life. When we're not able to manage our failures, we begin to reject ourselves. When you don't forgive yourself for mistakes you've made, you begin to blame yourself for mistakes you've made. And in a horizon of guilt, self-love is the first to pack its bags and leave, where there is an excessively crushed human being because we all feel guilty. There is no way for us to get rid of guilt. What you need to be aware of is the weight it takes on and how much it is time for you to let it go. Feeling guilty is a natural movement in human life. Now, accepting the condemnation that guilt brings us is already an exercise in choice. So, sometimes when I am not able to forgive myself, I assimilate the feeling of guilt. I unconsciously assume destructive, self-destructive behaviors. So I sabotage myself all the time. I go and do everything wrong knowing that it will hurt me. Addiction is this. When I'm not able to stop situations, realities, substances that intoxicate, that kill me. I've said this a few times. The same thing happens. The unhealthy relationship between one person and alcohol can also happen between one person and another. In the same way that we become addicted to marijuana, cocaine, nicotine, alcohol, I can also become addicted to other people. And when I'm addicted to another person, I become blind to perceiving the paths to my liberation. So, for this reason, my people, in the whole process of independence, the first thing we're going to do is ask for help. because in the same way that self-love was gone, it can return. And how does it come back? When we are well influenced, when we surround ourselves with good people, when we get stuck, the access of people who can maintain our vice because because you can observe they exist, people we call friends, who have an enormous capacity to take us to the addictions. So be careful. If you identify that person as toxic in your life because they reform you, they reinforce your most fragile aspects. It makes no sense to have this person in your story. It doesn't mean you'll despise them, that you'll find someone, and not just you, the wisdom of not allowing them to continue to influence you. I don't want it anymore, so I block access. I won't allow that person to influence me negatively. And how do we replace them with someone who influences us positively? And there are many good people out there. There are many good people. There are many true Christians ready to help us bring self-love back into our hearts. So, how do you recover an alcoholic? By removing alcohol from their life. It would be so simple, right? It's not enough to deprive them of it at first, because the moment they have access to it, they'll drink. What we need to do is an emotional cleanse. And who does the emotional cleanse? Little by little, bringing back love. Who is it that will create immunity? It's love that will give me the conditions to not continue opening up, lowering my guard to situations, to people, to substances that intoxicate and kill me. And we educate our desire. We need to do this. I need to educate my desire. I need to desire good things. I need to increasingly refine my feelings. Learn the process of refinement. And we were talking here before about people who are rich and have a nobility of soul. Are they refined? Just like you, a poor person, poor, materially speaking, has a nobility of soul. You find nobility of soul in both the poor and the rich. Nobility of soul is when the desire has been educated to want what is noble. Is it gossip? No, then I'm not interested. Is it to speak ill of other people's lives, so that subject doesn't interest me? Is it to destroy myself? No, I don't want to. We adopt a refined behavior. Educated, elegant. It's elegance of the soul, isn't it? Sometimes we are very concerned with the elegance of the body. We invest heavily in the elegance of our body. What are we going to wear? We're going to party. We're going to appear there in public. We have a special treatment, a whole concern for the way we're going to materially cover our body. But we forget that what shines ultimately is the elegance of the soul. It's how much of our behavior has already been educated. Has it already been transformed into something good? It's us gradually transforming. Our way of being, our posture, our gestures, our words. That is a lot of good. After being in a good relationship with you, you become great company for others. The problem is that we want to have good company, and be good company without having first made the first move of love. We were not alone. Recognizing who you are, a process of self-understanding, of self-knowledge that you will deal with, strength to overcome, to remove obstacles from your path, because life always has obstacles. Sometimes we have the illusion of thinking other people's lives are perfect, right? It's because we live in an increasingly strange model of society. It's because we have a need to show others a joy that we don't have, a happiness that was never ours. We make a point of showing what materially we had for lunch. It's a strange movement, isn't it? I don't know if this seems strange to you, but there are people who take great pleasure in having. No, because do material goods give you any satisfaction? Personal, intimate, not satisfaction. It comes down to having something to show that you have it. You travel to show that you have traveled. For this opportunity to be on stage, as most of the time, I can be seeing the crowd before me. How do I observe people not living in the present moment? It's an anxiety to film, to photograph. Sometimes I pay attention to some people who spend the entire show with their heads turned to their cell phones. So we are much more living for others to see. What are we living that is necessarily for ourselves? How is it necessary? The experience of friendship that you need to have with yourself. You being your best friend, you being the first to want your well-being. Which sometimes we are here too. We want the other to want our well-being, for the other to do for us all the time. May he open the roads, so that good things may happen in our lives. The other is a compliment. It is not fair to the other to impose this burden on him, because he needs to live this. Homework with him. I cannot take over anyone's life. No, I can't take on other people's problems. I can help, but I can't take on other people's problems as my own. They're just me, turn against myself. I want to be an eternal helper. Helping. Living to help. Now, I want to have humility to say, this problem is yours, not mine. If you don't take control of your life, I can't help you. It's like giving medicine to a sick person who has already decided to die. If the other person isn't awake and aware of the efforts they need to make to achieve the operations they need to achieve, I can't do it for them. So I need to have this awareness. The dimension of my life in which I walk alone. There are situations that I have to face alone, no matter how much the other person claims to be by my side. How good, how great. But I know that some lessons I never, ever said I'd follow. So I know I'm a Christian like that. When do I discover the dimension of personal friendship that I need to have with myself? And then, how much this movement that benefited me helps me to benefit others. How good it is to realize that you've moved forward, that you've evolved, that you've let go of the petty feelings that once dominated you, that you've adopted an elegant behavior. When we're angry, for example, no elegance is possible, neither of the body nor the soul. Doctor all clumsy, under the impulse of going. Yes, but when are we centered in ourselves? I've learned this a lot. I need to be under my feet, entirely under my feet. I need to be where I am, live the moment that life is allowing me to live. That's elegance. It's so inelegant for the other person to talk to us while we're using our cell phones, pretending to be paying attention. Isn't it elegant? Elegance is when you realize that you can be for others, because you learn to be for yourself. We can only offer others what we have already achieved. So, the elegance that I offer others, the elegance of the soul, it is only possible to be offered because first I nourish myself with thoughts, words, feelings, elegance that nourishes the elegance of my behavior. So, all the time I experience being my love. I want good books. I want knowledge. I want good attitudes. I want good choices. What am I aware of that is the best in me? Is it here? But it hasn't blossomed yet. I am encouraged by those around me to make it blossom. This best that is already in me, that was given to me by God. Why can't I give it up? For love of it. You know, my people, our Christianity, we identify the maturity that it brought us like this. When you are able to recognize that everything that life gives you, did you give it to Him for your work? The material result of your achievements? This does not change who you are. On the contrary, it makes Him even more aware of His essence, of what He identifies in the world. Is it His ability to be a friend, to want the best of the people who pass by you? Thank you very much for your company. Thank you for the affection, for the happy opportunity to once again enter your life. May you not lack awareness of realizing what in your life needs to be modified for what the elegance of the soul, what you do not be afraid to live the confrontations that will allow you the inner freedom to say this I want for myself. That does not want, may God bless you in this purpose. Does He want Father? Holy Spirit. Until next week, God willing, flowers are all colors. Of so many loves, I never forgot. Life passes. This sap, truth that unites me to you? Yes, of all the evil this, that of friendship. For me it is. Root,